Hey, good morning, everyone. I wanted to talk about Harris versus Trump and just touch on something that I don't think a lot of folks are paying attention to or are potentially seeing as a reality. Quick note, I'm painting the rest of this wall. I actually had 3 windows here previously in the set, and the windows are still there on the outside, but on the inside I drywalled over them because I didn't like the color. But I wanted to also make this video. I think there are very loud Donald Trump supporters, and there are very, very quiet Kamala Harris supporters that might end up swinging this election. See, typically, younger male adults don't turn out to vote. However, younger male adults are the primary cohort that Donald Trump is trying to convince to vote for him. If he can get that younger male vote out, then maybe he could do as Elon Musk says, win in a dramatic landslide. Remember, Elon Musk's argument is that if you are supporting Donald Trump, you should make it so that the win is so obvious that it is impossible to allege that Donald Trump did not win. There would be no chance of a steal, so to speak. Now, what's remarkable on the flip side is Kamala Harris pulls higher with women, substantially higher. She pulls at least 10 to 12 percentage points higher with women. This is not a surprise. We know the gender divide exists between women and men. However, women are both A, more likely to vote, and B, less likely to be vocal, especially if there's a risk of confrontation about whom they're going to vote for. Now, that's very interesting, because it could mean that there's actually a Harris landslide, maybe even as a result of that, a blue sweep, which is highly unexpected right now. I think the odds of a Harris landslide, a tight race are, certainly higher than a landslide, but a Harris landslide has very, very low odds right now. And a blue sweep has, I would say, Harris landslide's probably less than a 13% chance, and a sweep for Democrats is probably less than 25%. But if more women show up than usually do, and they are inclined to vote for Harris, and they vote blue up and down the entire ticket, then there's a possibility that you end up with a complete, almost unpredicted Harris landslide. Because think about this for a moment. Hello. There's such an argument right now that there is so much support for Donald Trump because of the vocal support that he receives on social media or potentially on Twitter, or after, the garbage comments, or after the McDonald's stunt, so to speak. It was a brilliant stunt, but it was a stunt nonetheless. And what ends up happening is you have 2 types of people. You have a person who's like, hell yeah, go MAGA, super loud, pro-Donald Trump. But the louder the pro-Donald Trump cohort is, the quieter your pro-Harris supporters might be, because they might be less confrontational, or desire confrontation less, or desire to showcase whom they're voting for less than others. This means you could end up with a surprise Harris sweep, a landslide for Harris, if younger men, as they usually don't turn out to vote, and women turn out to vote more than they traditionally do. And I think surveys, and certainly betting markets, won't show this. We should know this at this point, but obviously betting markets are skewed, because with betting markets, you have a very thin order book. I mean, frankly, we know Bill Ackman, the greatest manipulator of all time, can swing the bond market. He can swing certainly individual stocks. Imagine swinging the thinness of the order book of the betting markets. I mean, one French guy swung it in Donald Trump's favor, and some of that has recently gotten unwound as you're getting more balanced pricing. I personally think the Harris campaign probably woke up and started having some people do counter bets. This video isn't inspired by Harris, betting odds or betting odds anywhere, frankly. It's simply something I've been thinking about and having a conversation about this weekend, that we might be woefully underpricing or under-expecting what Harris could pull off, which is really interesting because institutional investors see Harris as a surprise. And the stock market started rallying in anticipation of a Donald Trump. Bitcoin started rallying in anticipation of a Donald Trump. Enphase fell to record lows in anticipation of a Donald Trump and the removal of some of the Inflation Reduction Act credits. And so, first of all, if you get a Harris, you'd have to reprice some of these things back in, right? Potentially Bitcoin down and Enphase up, just as an example. But the other thing that you do is if you have a Democratic sweep that comes out of nowhere, now you potentially have to price in more tax policy that is undesirable potentially to corporations, and the potential that Democrats are able to essentially plow through measures like a higher corporate tax rate, which could affect earnings. So even though you might think, okay, got it, so we've got a Harris sweep, we're going to get energy policy, you might not be facing a higher corporate tax rate. So there's a lot here that I think a lot of folks just aren't paying attention to right now. And this is a scenario I wanted to see what my community thought about. I know there are a lot of folks who are very loudly in support of Donald Trump, but I know there are people on the channel as well who are also very loudly in support of Harris. And so I wanted to put these comments out just to see where everybody's mind was on this. And let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. I want to read them all. I look forward to it. I'm going to finish painting, and then we'll get back to being able to dress up and get back to the respect the channel deserves. If you have any questions, by the way, remember House Hack. House Hack has an investment deadline coming up for the convertible bond offering, which is pretty incredible. If you think back to Tesla had a convertible bond offering in 2014. Now, they were public at that time, and I respect that as a difference, but they had a convertible bond offering, and they were paying a yield of 0.25 to 1.25%. Usually convertibles pay a very, very low yield because you're getting the upside in the stock as well. Well, this convertible pays 5%. It's an investment in House Hack, and you get liquidity as soon as we go public, which I can't make any promises as to when it is, but I want it to be as soon as possible. Anyway, thanks for watching. Go to househack.com to learn more. Thanks. Bye.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.